Everyone keeps saying Canada is broken, the economy is collapsing, nothing is working. That's the story, right? So here's a simple question. What if that story doesn't match the data? Because when you actually look at the numbers, things start to look very different. I get why the narrative sticks. Bad news spreads fast. It's simple. It's emotional. It grabs attention. But here's the problem. When the story and the data don't line up, one of them has to give. So let's walk through this and see what's actually happening. Let's start with jobs. Because if an economy is truly falling apart, this is where you'd see it first. Except, that's not what's happening. Canada has added roughly 700,000 to 900,000 jobs over the past couple of years. That's a lot of people working. Unemployment has been sitting around 5 to 6%. Not the absolute lowest, but stable, solid. Right in line with stronger G7 economies. So right away, the idea that the labor market is collapsing, it doesn't really hold up when you look at the actual numbers. Now this is where people will push back. Because yeah, things felt rough. Inflation went up. Paychecks didn't keep up. People noticed. No argument there. But here's the part that isn't getting much attention. That trend has started to shift in a meaningful way. Wages are now growing in the 4 to 5% range. Inflation has dropped significantly from where it was. And that leads to something important. Real wages are rising again. Slowly? Yes. But clearly moving in the right direction. That's not nothing. That's a turning point. So at home, things look more stable than the narrative suggests. But here's the next question. What does the rest of the world see when they look at Canada? Because that perspective often tells you a lot more than the headlines. Investment is still flowing into Canada. Energy, critical minerals, technology, infrastructure, long-term sectors that signal confidence. And investors aren't chasing hype. They're looking for stability, predictability, lower risk, and right now, Canada is checking those boxes more than people realize. Canada is also expanding trade beyond just one partner. Stronger ties with Europe. Growing engagement in the Indo-Pacific. At the same time, the country maintains a top-tier credit rating and a highly stable banking system. Quiet advantages, but very real ones in a volatile world. And here's where it gets interesting. Because in a world that feels increasingly unpredictable, stability matters more. It's not flashy, it doesn't trend, but it builds confidence. And that's exactly how Canada is being viewed globally right now. Not perfect, but reliable. So now take a step back and look at the full picture, not just one piece, at home and globally, simultaneously. Because this is where things start to come together in a way that's harder to ignore. At home, you have job growth, recovering wages, and a labor market that's holding steady. Globally, you have investment coming in, trade expanding, and financial credibility staying strong. That combination tells a story, and it's not the one you hear every day. Now, does this mean everything is perfect? Of course not. Are people still feeling pressure? Absolutely. But the idea that Canada is completely broken just doesn't line up with what the data actually shows when you put it all together. What it looks like instead is a country that's stabilizing, gradually improving, gaining ground in a quiet, steady way. And I know that's not the most exciting headline in the world, but in times like these, steady progress is not a bad place to be. So you don't have to agree with everything that's happening. You don't even have to feel optimistic yet. But if we're going to have an honest conversation about where Canada stands, we should probably start here, with what's happening, not just what we keep hearing.
If you want more facts and less fear, hit subscribe. Check out the next breakdown wherever you're listening or watching. Stay sane, Canada.